Hello, Pokemon fans. We are going into the state of Tennessee for the Tennessee State Championships of 2012. I believe a deck was shown in the little intro sequence we did there, and it will be explained further when we get on site. It is currently 7:51. We need louder bike music, by the way. Louder. There we go. Best bike music in any Pokemon game ever. So, why can't the camera angle be this wide when it, whatever. Anyway. So, what should we talk about today? Today, spring break started yesterday for Kooper. And, this is the first thing we're doing on spring break. So, and it's probably about the only thing Kooper's doing on spring break. So, no running around the beach with Jasmine and stuff. Although I guess Olivine City, you could technically do that just about any time, right? There's probably not going to be any games recorded today, since I think officially you're not supposed to really even bring electronic devices to the tournament site really much whatsoever. But you know, everyone has cell phones. I guess that's primarily to discourage people from like texting while battling, which would get really annoying, I would think. And plus, you could theoretically have someone like look out and look at your opponent's hand and like texting you what they have or some dumb, you know, cheating crap like that. Surely no one would actually want to do that. But anyway, I guess that's what that's there for. So not too much to talk about, I guess, on the way there. But it is at the Next Level Games, which is where, if you saw the second half of the Next Destiny's pre-release videos, it's the same place. I mentioned in that video that states were going to be at the same place, and they are. Kooper has no co-pilot today. My friend couldn't make it, so I think I discussed on TPX to see if anyone who lived remotely close wanted to come and hang with, and I think I know Cookie from TPX that lives in Tennessee, but he's been kind of out of contact, so I doubt he'll be there. But I hope we see some people that we know, we have a good time, and I'll check back in with you guys whenever I check back in with you guys. Alright, so we're in Nashville proper now. It is just about exactly 9 a.m. and yes, we did go the right way. The only difficult thing here, I don't know if you guys saw that sign, is staying on the correct road. But there are signs, and Kooper has probably above average intelligence, even though Demon Ruin Road Street, rather. Anyway, so yeah, so I thought what we would do, since I'm not sure how much time I'm gonna have before the tournament starts, to like sit in the car and stuff. I'll probably have some time to at least go over the deck. I figured what we would do is discuss some popular decks that, or at least briefly mention some decks that we think we might face for those not familiar with the current metagame. So, as you saw in the intro, Kooper's playing a Zekrom with Eels deck, which is primarily, we need to move over. It's a fairly cheap deck to build, since it's, you know, everything, pretty much the main two attackers are all in theme decks, so, or the main two guys, components, are in theme decks, and soon to be in 10s. Although, of course, you know, they had to release 10s after States, go figure. I think it's like the Saturday after States, like, thanks guys. But anyway, so, I know EelZone is really big on TCGO. Presumably it's also fairly big on real life, especially since, you know, a lot of people probably already had Magnezone from Megazone last year with Yanmega and Magnezone, which is still actually modified legal, so we could see some of that too. what else? I suppose there's any number of things with item lock, Wild Plume. I don't really think we're going to see any Gothitelle, simply because Mewtwo kind of has decided that Gothitelle needs to go die. Mewtwo doesn't like Gothic Lolitas, so okay, there's a split here. We're gonna take the right split. Who else? I suppose we could still see some like Reuniclus stuff, but honestly, we're not too worried about Reuniclus, I guess. Well, like I suppose Reuniclus with some EXs like Regigigas could be a big deal, especially. You know, so, well, I think the apex damage for this deck is 150, which is enough to kill anything that's not an EX. So yeah, as you guys know, I don't have any Mewtwo's, so I'm not playing any Mewtwo's, and I doubt I ever will, since I'm feeling pretty keen on making that Rayquaza Eel deck that I did some playtests with. That looks pretty vicious. Assuming Rayquaza is in a 10 and/or isn't bloody expensive, I'll probably start running that whenever it comes out. But let's see. Certainly we could see some Reshiram stuff. In my opinion, Typhlosion Reshiram is just so much better than Emboar Reshiram. Unless it's EX, in which case I want to be moved over. If it's Resh, that was funny. If it's Resh EX, then I'd say they're about even. I would give a slight edge to Emboar, just because you don't want too much more self-damage coming from Afterburner. Who else? Zekrom Reshiram. So yeah, so Japan is currently in Black White On, but over in the US we're still kicking it HS on, because we didn't want to switch to Black White On at the same time Japan did, because we would have had one set in the modified format, and that would have been stupid. So yeah, we didn't want to do that. But it's gonna be weird for Japan, I guess, because at Worlds, it's gonna all of a sudden the HS block is gonna be back in for them. They're used to playing without it, so they're used to playing without, you know, Vile Plume and Seeker and all this other stuff as well. So that should be interesting to see how the Japanese players react to having the format shifted on them. Which I always found that a little bit weird, that the what format Worlds was is like dependent on what sets are out in the US rather than what sets are out in Japan. So yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense, since, you know, US players, no one except Japan has those cards, so they can't very well be used at Worlds. So let's see. So Reshiram decks. I don't know if there's actually decks that are gonna, like, well, I suppose there's CMT. No, not Country Music Television. I guess we can mention energy accelerators. So there's 3 main types right now that have energy acceleration, which is you know, attaching more than one energy per turn, which is very, very handy. Number 1 energy accelerator I'd say right now is electric, which is what I have, so that's good. That's good for me. Number 2, I'm not sure, but the other 2 are fire and grass. Fire has 2 in the form of Typhlosion Prime and Emboar ability, Fandango. And then grass with Next Destinies indirectly got 1 in the form of Celebi Prime, which it's had for a while, but it wasn't really good until Skyhour Bridge came out. So now, like, whenever one of your guys gets killed, you promote Celebi Prime, you get an extra energy, and then you retreat it for free with Sky Arrow. So it's pretty handy. It's a basic, so it's really a lot easier to get out than the other ones. The other cards are all evolutions. So that's arguably one of the best ones, but it's definitely a lot more restrictive than the other guys. The other problem is that there's not really anything that needs grass energy. there aren't any really great grass energy attackers. It's pretty much just Mewtwo and Tornadus that can use grass energy, so they just do, since that's what Celebi gives them. So we could certainly see that. The ZPST, the Donk deck, up until next Destinies, I felt like that was such a stupid, cheap deck. But now with the EXs out, if you don't, even if you, assuming you even get, you know, the Bolt Strike, turn 1 Bolt Strike off, if you don't Eviolite it, you're like setting yourself up for Mewtwo to come in, X-Ball for a KO, because you're going to be down to 90 HP, 5 total energy in play, so that's 100. So if you don't have Eviolite, you're going to set yourself up for a kill, which, by the way, is also something I'm going to have to be aware of with my Zekroms. But the difference being that ZPST doesn't recover very well if it doesn't get the Donk. So I don't know how much play that we'll see, but I suppose we'll see. That's going to be one of the things I'll be interested in seeing, is like how many people have just like Archetype decks and how many people have something Rogue, you know, some random Excadrill or some guy, you know. Should be pretty interesting, pretty fun. That's always something I enjoy seeing. It is Swiss rounds, so, you know, if Kooper goes on a losing streak, maybe we'll see some other people who brought some, like, you know, random non-Archetype decks, and that'll be fun to play against. And like I said, we'll go over my deck in more detail when we get there. When, you know, I can't very well be shuffling through cards while I'm driving. I'm doing good to hold the camcorder. There was something else I was going to mention. CMT. I'm trying to think if there's... Oh, Durant. I guess Durant's another one. I don't really know. Well, I do have 2 Super Rod, which kind of turns back the clock on Durant a little bit. And I should be able to get him knocked out in 1 hit. Because that's the thing about Durant. You have to be able to knock him out in 1 hit. You have to make sure the game doesn't last more than 6 turns, or more than, you know, 8 to not. I'd say 9 turns probably is your goal for the game versus Durant. Because if you can't get him down that quick, then if you're having a 2-hit KO with Durant, it's not good for you. I'm not sure if I think Dark Explorers might be here before Regionals, I'm not sure. That'll have Heatmore, and with Heatmore you can throw, you know, one of those and a Prism in just about any deck, just so that, oh, I'm facing Durant. Here, let me search out my Heatmore and get this Prism somehow, and boom. You know, Durant deck is pretty much completely countered. It's not that it's hard to win a KO a Durant, it's just that Heatmore kind of allows you to do it on turn 1. And if you're getting your Durants killed on turn 1, yeah, Durant doesn't like that very much. So, but I do hope I'll play against one of those, because I do like Durant. There's some other Archetype too. Oh, Cake. I think that's what it's called. Cake or Coke. Which I never could figure out what... I guess it's Kyurem and Electrode is the last 2. And then Cobalion, so Cobalion, Kyurem, Electrode, Pokeball dude from 1st Gen, which pretty much involves using the Energy Might thing to blow him up and go down in prizes to use Twins and attach as many energies as you can, including specials. So that's kind of what that deck is about, and any variant thereof. Very customizable deck, so it's kind of nice. Let's see. Covered that. We covered the Unova Dragons in general. I guess there's 6 corners, which currently I think is still kind of okay. There's something in the next set that I feel like is going to really like kill corners. Yeah. Oh, I guess we can take some time here to hype. You guys ready to hype stuff? I I think it's going to be, I'm not sure if it's Dragon Blade or Dragon Blast, or maybe it's in a team deck. But the new Drifblim. And actually our exit's coming up. New Drifblim, guys. For 1 colorless energy, 50 damage times the number of special energy in the opponent's discard. And there is a Crash Hammer, I think it's called, that discards the special energy attached to the opponent's active. Going to be very, very vicious once you get 3 or more special energies in the disc. Once you get 2 in there, look out, Mewtwo, look out. You're going to be getting one-shotted by a blimp. So our exit is coming up. So I will see you guys momentarily. Alright guys, we are here and it is 9:30, so we got about 30 minutes. Made pretty good time. Already took a break, you know what I mean. So, interesting story about the construction of this deck. Last night, I was, making my preliminary, listing of stuff that's in the deck to confirm I have, to get ready to write it down on the deck registration sheet. And I noticed the totals added up to 59. I was like, well, that's weird. I must have miscounted. Did it again. No, it's still 59. And turns out that there I go again doing that. The card sleeves that I had been using for the deck, which were they were a little bit newer. I only had 59 of those card sleeves, and of course, I can't just throw another card sleeve from a random pile in, because then it would be marked, even though all my card sleeves are all blue. Because there's, different shades of blue depending on what pack you open them from. So, fortunately for me, however, I decided to bring along my good old deck with Dark Crobat, and who is here joining us today in spirit, even though it can't be played. And because I brought that deck, fortunately, the cart for me, I was able to just get the 60 sleeves from that deck and use those. So they're a little bit worse for the wear. I'm probably actually going to end up trying to get some new sleeves when I get in there. Sorry about that. A little difficult to pull stuff out when I've got the camera. So we have, as we saw, we have a Dynamo Electric Zekrom deck. And here's what we got. So we have 3 30 HP Dynamos. Alright, once again, people were getting out of cars and stuff. So, starting over, I have 3 30 HP Dynamos, which at first was because that was the main one that I had. I only have 1 of the 40 HP one. But as I kept playing, I found that the free retreat on this guy is really desirable, even though I was able to order a couple of patch-up things that did get here from Troll and Toad. It's like $1 Zapdos. Like, I'm not going to try to beat that for a holographic. And I did get a couple more of the 40 HP Dynamo, but I decided, you know what, the free retreat is so freaking good. I don't think I'm going to see too many QRM. If I do have Defender in this deck that I could throw on Dynamo to let him live a Glaciate. Various stuff we can do. And I just value the free retreat more overall, especially since I'm only playing 1 Sky Arrow. And then we have the main attacker, which is, of course, Zekrom. Like you can't play every different art, but we have the 10 promo, the theme deck holo, the box promo, and one of my full arts. I have 2 full arts, as some of you have seen on stream, and I went with the one that's a little bit more gray and has larger granules, because the other one, I don't know. I know the full art that you get from hobby packs, because this one was from a blister pack that didn't have a code card. I know it's like clearly more gray, so yeah, this one's more gray. So I feel like those are more common. So I decided to keep my more black one in more mint condition. And then here's the Zekrom EX that I pulled from the Next Destiny's pre-release in Memphis. And the addition that I made last night is 2 Zapdos. I have Zapdos instead of Tornadus because Random Spark is pretty nice. It lets you snipe stuff off. And I like flipping coins. What can I say with Thundering Hurricane? Even though that's a pretty bad attack because it gets you killed by Mewtwo. With that many energy and that much HP. But I can't resist the thought of being able to do 200 damage. Just randomly pop that out there. That sounds pretty good to me. And Thunder or Tornadus doesn't, I don't really need his energy cycling because I have his brother, which I don't know how much I'll use Disaster Volt, but Charge, definitely a lot. So another full art here. And then just one Cleffa as, okay, I need a new hand, let me try to level ball or something and get out this Cleffa. Not intended to be the starter. Ideal starter is probably Zekrom, maybe a Tynamo if I have multiple Tynamo. And I only run 3 electric. I don't know if I should have run 4 or not, but I think 3 is so far pretty okay. I usually only want to get 2 set up anyway, so if 1 is prized, it's not a huge deal. In Lightning Energy, we have 11. It seems sufficient so far. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. And then 4 DCE. And 1 Rescue. The main reason I have a Rescue is that I only have 1 Zekrom EX copy. So that's something I can use to try to get that back. And then into trainers, we have 3 PCOMs. I usually don't like to run 4 copies of a trainer. My general rule of thumb is if I want it in my opening hand over half the time, I'll run 4 copies of it. If I don't need it in my opening hand over half the time, I'll just run like 3. So that's what we did there. 2 Eviolite. I did have 3, but I went down to 2. I'll say why later. 2 Junk Arm, mainly because that's all I have. I don't think I'd really run over 2 Junk Arm anyway. Did I have 1 level ball? I thought I had more than 1 level ball. Evidently not. I have to check that, but I thought I had more than 1 level ball. So we got some old school trainers here. We got Plus Power, which has errata, so you can just use that with whatever. And only 2 Catcher because I only have 2 Catcher, and Catcher's probably going to get reprinted the next set anyway, so hopefully I can pull some then. And I am rocking the Neo Genesis Super Rod. I do have the the Noble Victories one as a side for reference in case someone needs to see what it does, since this is obviously a completely different effect. But it's it's old school. We have to play it. Only 2 Switch. Should be sufficient. 1 Defender just for making Zekrom take no damage in 1 turn, or other purposes. Lost Remover just because I feel like Lost Remover is a good thing to just throw in a deck randomly when they least expect it. And then supporters. If you've been keeping count, you know that I don't have very many supporters at all. So 3 Junipers. 2 Sages, which is, get stuff in discard pile. That's what we want. A Silent, because sometimes I just want to pull some energies out to discard them with a Junk Arm. That's usually works out pretty well. 1 N, just for some disruption. That can always be helpful. And I took out an Eviolite for a Pont at the last minute last night. I figured, Eviolite can be recycled with Junk Arm, and I wanted another consistency card, so I threw this in. I could have thrown in another Juniper, but sometimes there's some stuff I don't really want to discard, so I figured I'll throw in 1 Oak's New Theory, why not, and then just 1 copy of Sky Arrow. So that is the deck. One of the reasons I'm so low on supporters is there's a conspicuously absent supporter there, Pokemon Collector, which, as I've mentioned, perhaps sometimes I have no intention of getting because it's going to get rotated out really soon, and I don't really want to buy 4 copies of it, and then use it for like 2 tournaments, and then, oh, it's not any good anymore. Unless for some strange reason they keep the HS Trainer Kit modified legal, which I doubt. But it is getting somewhat close to time, so I'll check back momentarily. Alright guys, looks like we're starting to go in now, so I'm probably not going to do any recording while in there. If I do, it's just going to be the little, looking around stuff. Not any games recorded, certainly, but I will report back in with some after-game match summaries. I'll take notes and whatnot, so we're going to go ahead and get ready and go get up there and wait in front of the store. So I'll see you guys back in a couple of hours, or a few seconds for you. Alright, so guess who is 0-2? Not this guy, not this guy. I'm not 0-2. So the second round is over, and I just got back from lunch break, about to go back, excuse me, I'm about to go back in for round 3, and I guess we can go, yeah, we have time. We're going to go ahead and give some, there I go, I'm doing it again, Maker, I'm doing it again. The recaps for the first 2 rounds. So, first round was against a guy who, I guess I can give first names. That's like not horribly violating people's privacy, right? A guy named Kendris, and this was his first event of this magnitude, I suppose. He had a sleeveless deck, so, you know, we hate the stereotype stuff, but, you know, I thought, maybe this would be an easy win, and, well, I hesitate to call anything an easy win, but he definitely had not an Archetype deck. It was Mandibuzz, Emerging Powers Zoroark, not the good Zoroark, the bad one, Magmar, and Reshiphlosion EX. So, I started off with a Clef and Landorus, and I pulled the Sages first turn. I think I went first. And he had a couple of Vullabis, and I think he started off with a Resh EX as well. Cleffa, for whatever reason, stayed... excuse me. Cleffa stayed asleep for like 3 rounds, like 3 of my turns I missed because of Cleffa. And what the hand I eked into... Good grief. Well, I guess I did just eat, eh? The hand I eked into the first time, I got stuck with 3 Junipers, and I think... No, I got stuck with 3 Junipers, so I was like, you know, I could play these, but I'm not, because if I play one, I lose all 3, and I don't really want to do that. He attempted the blind side. It was the... Which one is that? I think it's the black-white. Why do I have a frog in my throat? It's a giant frog in my throat. It's Glenn in my throat. That sounds really nasty. Anyway, he attempted the blindside through my sleeping Cleffa, but blindside on Mandibuzz only works if the guy previously has damage on him, so it didn't work, and he couldn't really get anything going. And I finally woke up and got some better stuff. Meanwhile, I was getting Zekrums and stuff working out. I think eventually I got 2 eels set up, so that was really nice. He didn't seem to have catch or anything like that, so that was helpful as well. And got the Resh EX dead with 2 Bolt Strikes, or a Bolt Strike and an Outrage after he countered with the Glinting Claw. Got killed by a Mandibuzz, but then Zapdos, I promoted a Cleffa, and I went from 1 Lightning to Dynamotor and a double Colorless and then killed 2 Mandibuzzes in subsequent rounds. With that thing has weakness, so it was I got 3 heads on the first one for 300, and only 1 heads on the last flip too, with the Thundering Hurricane for 100. And then he had a Magmar left that I was able to kill with Landorus, so that was a 2-5 win. And then round 2 is against one of the guys that I kind of sort of know. He's really good, Carlos. And he had a Chandelure deck, which is cool, because I thought Chandelure was going to see a severe dip in popularity. And he had the, not no energy, but low energy, I think. And Tropical Beach type variant that doesn't try to attack. So he went first and had Oddishes, so I was like, oh crap, Trainer Lock. So if you guys noticed, this deck has a lot of supporters, or a lot of items rather, not a lot of supporters, so I was really afraid of item lock. Good grief. I think he led with a Pichu, but he collected out a Cleffa and was using that. So I had an Eviolite in my opening hand. Started off with a Thundurus, that Eviolite, and a 40 HP Dynamo, which was kind of huge that it was my 140 HP one. So I benched that Zekrom, get an Eviolite on it. Next turn, Trainer Lock comes up. So I keep charging with Thundurus, and Plume does indeed come out. And he evolves into a Lampent, and he does some stuff with Tropical Beach. But slowly but surely I build up some Zekroms. The problem with Chandelure is that its damage output is not that great each turn unless you get multiple Chandelures going on. So I dropped my notepad. Fortunately for me, he was not able to get out. There we go. Was not able to get out multiple Chandelures. And at some point he just had to start... why does everyone walk by my car? I guess because I parked the best. Anyway. At some point, where am I in my notes? Oh, so he did get Chandelure out, but for whatever reason, he didn't go after my Dynamo on the bench. He kept going after my Thundurus with Curse Shadow. So because of that, I was eventually able to get Eel out, and once Eel hit the field, oh, that was a big load off my shoulders. So he kept doing Chandelure stuff, and started sacrificing like Oddishes and or babies and other small basics. So just eating up free prizes, getting twins off of it, obviously. But I promise, guys, 3 through 7, I won't be belching all the time. Evidently, he was getting like horrible draws on Beach and Eek, Tropical Beach and Eek draws. You know, because Vileplume locks you out of trainers too, so that's the problem with it. At some point, I was able to pull a Sky Arrow, and unfortunately, I think that stayed in play for about 1 round. I probably should have left it until I needed it to cheapen a retreat cost, but he just replaced it with another Beach. And at some point, I pulled Zekrom EX from the prizes, and with Zekrom EX, that's a very good matchup versus Shandy. Anything that can one-hit KO Shandy, since he had trainer lock, so plus power Bolt Strike isn't going to happen. But Zekrom EX can definitely do that. He did the Lampent thing where you pull up an Eel, and Electric has a 2 retreat cost. So you try to get that up there a turn and get some momentum going. But unfortunately for him, I did have a DCE, so I was able to get Eel right back. And at some point he sent up Pichu. He had about, I think the game, well, at some point he also killed Thundurus. And it was like 5-2. And he playgrounded with Pichu, which was kind of a mistake, because I was able to pull out Zapdos with that, and he had some basics on the bench that were ripe for the picking, like Litwick and Doduo. So I was able to just random Spark and kill those off and win. So that was awesome, because I know he's a great player. I think actually the last time I played him in was it regionals? I think so. I think I won then too. And actually he just walked in front of the car. But anyway, so that's going to do it for rounds 1 and 2. And usually in tournaments I go even record, and since we have 7 rounds, that's usually 3-4. So I'm hoping to win 1 more game, maybe 2. I think in order to have a chance at top cut, I'll have to go 5 and 2, but we'll see how that goes. Probably we'll check back again after the tournament's over, unless we get another break for some reason. So awesome. Alright guys, we're here after round 6. Round 6 was kind of quick for me, so it only lasted like 2 turns, so I get a little break here. I can come out to the car and tell you guys what's going on. Also, light is fading fast, which is good because the sun made the room bloody hot. So, picking back up with round 3. I'm 2-0 at this point. And I wanted to face a Durant deck at some point today. Well, I got to face a Durant deck. So, I started with Cleffa and somebody else, I forget. This game was intense. I missed the Cleffa turn on sleep. So against Durant missing turns, you know, it doesn't matter, sweet sleepy face. It's not going to try to attack and kill Cleffa anyway. So I was able to get out of Zekrom, and the plan was to plus power a Bolt Strike to do 50 to myself intentionally, and that way I would have enough recoil that Outrage would kill a Durant that doesn't have any special metals or Eviolites on it. So I kept being a dum-dum, however, and he kept catching up my Eels because I forgot to Dynamotor onto them all the time. The first time I was able to get out of it with a DCE, and the second time I was able to get out of it by top decking a Junk Arm and using that to get back a Switch. So we kind of continue back and forth. At some point, Zekrom got going on. I was able to Outrage and kill Durant in one shot. The only thing he could really do to impede me was Catcher. I think he got 1 Crushing Hammer, and it was Tails. So I think he had sort of a cheaper build too. He had the Emerging Powers Cobalion instead of Noble Victories, which, you know, I perfectly understand not having, you know, all the money to get the optimum cards. I'm not running any collector for the same reason. So but the play of the game, and this I told him in advance, you may want to get a judge over here for this because I'm going to pull a shenanigan on you. I had 5 cards left in the deck after drawing, so if I end the turn at that point, maybe I had 4 left, something like that. Anyway, the scenario was that if I ended the turn, he was going to devour me, and I was going to have no cards left, so when I went to draw, I was going to lose. So what I did was, this is one of the gayest, stupidest little things you can do in Pokemon. I used communication to put a Dynamo in, and said, and here's where the shenanigans come in. I've got like 5 cards left. I got 5 cards in the deck at this point, and I claim that I have no Pokemon in there. Now, obviously, I know I have a poke in there. He knows I have a poke in there, but the game doesn't know that I have a poke in there. So it's a weird little rule, but you can claim that there's no valid target and do a fail search. I'm not sure if you can do that on TCGO, but you should be able to. So sure enough, he did call a judge over, but they were in agreement with me, and that was huge, because if I hadn't been able to do that, the next turn I would have not had a card to draw and have lost. So anyway, I think the turn before that, he had an Eviolated Cobalion, which that Cobalion has 110, not 120, which is huge. So I was able to plus power Bolt Strike it. But I messed up bad. I was playing too quick. I didn't Dynamotor either of my electrics. So I was like, crap, if he's got Catcher, he's going to pull up an electric, and I'm not going to be able to get it back unless I top deck like a... I don't think I have any Switch or DCE left in the deck. So that's gonna be it. After I did it, you know, I figured I'd try to ask him, see if he would let me do it, but you know, he did the right thing, playing to win, and you know, I made the misplay, so I have to eat it. But even though I thought I'd just blown the game, my prize for killing the Cobalion was a Switch. So he did indeed Junk Arm or Catcher or something, got my Energyless Eel, and I kind of find like, oh man, I just blew it. And then next turn dropped the Switch and killed that last Durant for the win with 0 cards left in the deck. So I think I actually declared Bolt Strike, so it was technically 0-5. But you know, whatever, didn't matter. I think my last draw though was in, so and I only had 1 prize left, so I could have, if I hadn't gotten that Switch, I could have played in and you know, shuffled in all my crap in for my. I had like 8 cards or more in my hand, and drew 1 for my 1 prize, because at that point I didn't need anything really too much out on the field. I just needed to get that electric back. That was about it. But so I was a bundle of nerves after that one, but I pulled it out, and that was a heck of a good game. And that was against Brent in round 3. And let's see, moving on, round 4 versus Steven. And guess what? Another Durant deck. However, this one was not nearly as exciting. He kind of started dead with just 1 Durant. I had Zekrom active. He went first, attached a special metal, and devoured just for 1. I actually drew Loss Remover in the opening hand, so I used that. And then Level Balled for a 40 HP Dynamo with an Eel in my hand already. And which, go figure, I should have gotten the 30 HP when he captured it up. After I attached and passed, since I didn't have a DCE for Zekrom. And I had a Juniper in the hand, but that's really risky versus Durant. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to be aggro and pull the trigger. And so I did. I went ahead and evolved into the Eel, and did in fact draw a DCE and a Switch. So what my dumb self didn't think to Dynamotor Zekrom to LL, 2 Lightnings, and then DCE Zekrom and then Switch, which would have won me the game. My stupid self DCE'd the electric to retreat it, and then just outraged. So I was like, oh crap. It's like Xerxes clicking moves in, on Wi-Fi games. But he Pokegeared. Thank goodness he only got a Twins. He was unable to get a Catcher or a Collector. So that was all the guys he was able to get out, and I was able to finish him off with Bolt Strike next turn for the game. So that was so that's 2 cases where I misplayed really bad, and Lady Luck said, I'll give you a pass, Koshiro. Okay, so some people are starting to come out now. Round 6 is surely not over yet. So at that point I am 4-0, and I believe we're going to need to get the 5-2 to have a shot to make top cut. And there's 1 round left, so I still have a chance anyway. Round 5 against Sadru, and this is my first Reshiphlosion game, and I kind of just got off to a slow start. I put Eviolite on Thundurus, which is I rarely do, but I did force him to use a plus power to kill it with Reshiram later, so that was kind of worth it, I guess. I was able to kill. He captured up an Energyless Zappy by junk arming a switch. Or no. He captured up my Energyless Zapdos, and I think I had volted his one of his Reshirams, so it had some damage already on it. And then I think he switched it out for a Cleffa or something like that. And then put up, or anyway, he put up Zapdos and he had Reshiram on the bench somehow. But I junk armed a switch and then captured it out, and was able to Disaster Volt it for KO. However, that depleted pretty much all of my resources. I think I had 2 Tynamos, but I wasn't really getting any Eels going on, unfortunately. But I did have a couple of awesome top decks. I know I had a Cleffa that I kept using for free retreats. He had the same. I had, I believe, an Eel or a Tynamo. I was going to Pecom in for a Zekrom. I actually top decked one, so that was nice. Both of us were, doing our kind of infinite setup thing where, even if one of our Zekrom or Reshiram goes down with after he got up his Typhlosions pretty quick. He actually got out 3, which I thought usually you just want to set up 2, but setting up 3 does allow you to get out everything in one go, so that's good. So both of us were able to pretty much replenish our attack force every turn. Unfortunately, he was. I tried to get a Zekrom EX since that would live a blue flare, whereas my after a Bolt Strike, my Zekroms wouldn't. It would have been nice if I had some Eviolites on those guys, but I don't think I ever did. I quote unquote wasted it on Tornadus or Thundurus, I guess, but that was probably okay. I'm also not sure if I think I had a rescue on that Thundurus, and I don't know if I brought it back to my hand, but I don't think that really mattered too much. But I tried to get that Zekrom EX, but it was prize, so I think I got a Zapdos instead. But it wound up being a prize race, and he had the lead, so he was able to pull it out in the end by capturing up my Cleffa. So I think that was a 2-0, maybe a 1-0. Just prize race, and he had the lead, so he was able to pull it out. So that moves me to 4-1, and then round 6 that we just did. As soon as he flipped over his active, I knew I wasn't going to be winning this one. It was a Landorus, hilariously enough, versus a Thundurus. So Genie guy's going at it, and he's got the clear advantage. He won the toss and went first, attached, Junipered, and Abundant Harvested, so he's got 2 fighting going on. And Thundurus is the only dude I have. So I do have a Pecom in my hand, and I try to Sage just to get any Pokemon, and then use that Pecom to get out of Zapdos and try to resist him and do something. But I actually get 5 trainers and energies, so that I got nothing going there. I did have a Juniper that might have drawn me a guy, but then I wouldn't have had Pecom, so it was gonna be dicey either way. So I just charged, and he one-shot me with Gaia Hammer, so that went down pretty quick. We actually finished that one before they even passed out the match slips, so we just got the, oh, hey, here's your match slip, fill it out. Okay, good. So, versus fighting this deck, I kind of just, Zapdos is there, but Zapdos isn't gonna, he had a Terrakion on his bench too, so he was like heavy fighting, so I wasn't gonna be winning that one with, oh my god, it's weak to fighting. But other than that, I've seen a couple of Tech Terrakions, but that's been about it. So I don't really regret, running fighting weakness too much. So it's been pretty okay. And we're going to go ahead and go back in now for round 7. If I win this, I might be in top cut to have a chance to actually win some packs and stuff. But if not, there might be some drafts or some other sort of side event for those who don't make top cut. Everyone's done now with the Masters Division. We had like 104 people, I think, was the final tally, which was twice what we had last year, evidently. So yeah, plenty of people crowding in here. But I'll let you guys. Well, no, I'm not gonna let you guys go. You guys have to keep watching. But I'm gonna go back in and play round 7. So see you in a minute. All right, guys. So the festivities are now over. And round 7 recap. I think we've recapped rounds 1 through 6. So I am, what, 4-2 heading into this. If I win this, I actually do have a shot at making top cut. So let's see how it goes. However, there was also news that there was going to be an after draft, which was going to be next Destinies, which I guess is expected, although I would have preferred Noble Victories or any other set, really. And I kind of wanted to do that just because I love the crap out of draft. But fortunately, it wound up being delayed till after the round was over, so I didn't have to pick and choose between going ahead and dropping out of the tournament and playing a draft, so that was good. So he had an EelZone deck, which is, pretty similar to mine, except, Magnezone, so I guess it's not really similar to mine, because I'm not paying however much for Magnezones when they're about to leave. So I had a pretty horrible start, though. I had a Lone Thundurus, a Rescue Energy, and no ways to get out, guys, so that was not good at all. He got rolling pretty quick. Yeah, two zones and 2 eels out by like turn 3, so he was setting up pretty fine. But the one Achilles heel to EelZone though is that if they have to keep burning those resources and lost zoning 3 energies to kill stuff, Electric gets it back from the discard, but he doesn't get it back from the lost zone. So he kind of had a little bit of an issue with resources, running out of energy cards to lost zone and kill guys. And for probably only because of that, I was able to hang in there and get a couple prizes off some catchers and stuff. But ultimately, he was just a little bit too much, and I couldn't get anything going with eels or anything like that. And I wound up losing 3-0. But I think this was actually the first game out of the only game in all 7 where I saw an EX. And sure enough, it was Mewtwo, but I was actually able to take it out, so that was pretty cool. And there was one cool play where I had like 7 cards in my hand, and I junk armed for a catcher or level ball, and then did some other shenanigans and was able to get it down to just Juniper in the hand and expend everything and get something for it, pretty much. So that was pretty cool. So final record was 4-3, which isn't top cut, but that's the best I've ever done at states or anything really. And I had this thing where I almost always go even record, and if there's an odd number of rounds, I usually go one less win. So today we went 1 more win than loss. So I feel like that was an accomplishment, and this is my first time back since 2005. So feeling pretty good about this. Pretty good. Out of 104 people, I guess quite a few dropped. In the final count, there were 81 people, and I was 29th out of those. So I guess that's in the top half. So I'm not going to be too ashamed of that. I believe. And best match of the day, I'd say by far is that one, the first one in round 3, I think, versus Durant, where I won with no cards left in the deck, and I had to use the fail search on PCOM to to allow myself to not get devoured out of there. Oh wow, I was like shooken up for the rest of the day. That was an awesome game, awesome game. Can't get the shaken up feeling like that with TCGO. I'm sorry. But anyway, so for the draft, I had no plan for draft. I was gonna pull a Mewtwo if I got it for sure, or any other EX. Didn't pull any EXs, of course. However, one of the first things that I got, I think the first pack I opened, I got a. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Oh, I guess I have a light here. It's really glary. There we go. It's nighttime now, in case you didn't notice. It's actually almost 9 o'clock. So I got a Cardi. I think this is the first rare I got from a pack. So I was like, okay, sweet. I would totally want to be able to use Cardi. And then later I got past a Gardevoir. Psycho Mirage, this awesome Gardevoir. And I believe I also got past at some point later Mr. Shifter here with a giant fan. And later I also opened a Gardevoir. So I don't think I wrote down what my deck was. But pretty much I just had 3 Stage 2 lines, which is, already crazy enough as it is in a real deck.
but in draft. But I did it. I was gonna run a Bronzong as well, which was just trolly because I was gonna run Pokemon Center and Teal Block, so that was kind of dumb. But I ended up cutting it. I was gonna cut Cardi, but I was like, because she was only like either a 3-1-1 or a 2-1-1 line of her. I actually had like a 4-3-2 line of Gardevoir. It was boss. But then again, I guess you can do that in draft. That's not too uncommon to have a decent deck in draft, unlike just open packs, limited style. And the Shiftry line, I think, was a 3-2-1, so that wasn't too bad. But Gardevoir was definitely my main line. I also had a Muck in there, since, it's another Psychic type. It can use or Psychic Mirage, whatever. I'll throw it in. It's a 1-1 line, so be it. I think I had... about energy. I know I had a Silent, not a Sky Arrow, a Level Ball, which I don't think I ever used. What else? Something else. Stadium. Oh, Pokemon Center. And I think those... Oh, and a Prism. But those are the only 3 trainers and 1 special energy I pulled, so go figure. Thinking. Oh, energies. I had 3 water, 6 dark, I think. Yeah, 6 dark. Because Shiftry's is DEC and Gardevoir's is PPC or PPCC, but you only need 1 psychic on there because of her ability. So I went 5 psychic, 6 darks, and 3 water. So that makes 14. Well, 15 with Prism. So I feel like 15 is a pretty solid amount. Although sometimes how many energy you run in a format like that is kind of determined by how many playable other cards you have, then you just fill it in with energy. One guy actually did get Mewtwo EX and did actually run the mono Mewtwo, 1 Mewtwo, whatever trainers you pull if you want, the rest Psychic Energy, and I believe he did indeed win. So he won he went 3-0 out of 3 rounds. Although, honestly, you know what would have been a really sweet thing to get off against him? Mr. Shiftry. If I could have got that giant fan off and blown Mewtwo back in the deck, it would have been hilarious. Unfortunately, I didn't last that long. I only had 2 little ice cream cones when I played him. I won the first round. He kind of dead drew with, he had a Meowth and some other dude. And I didn't really get anyone, going, but I did have a Minccino. And I used that to fill up the bench, and I think I just gradually beat him down with somebody. I think probably Nuzleaf. Second game I was against the Mewtwo guy, and yeah, nothing doing there. And then the third game actually lasted a really long time. She was a Pikachu fan, so she had, I don't even know if she had Raichus, but she had Pikachus, and I kept trolling Andrew. I kind of did your strat of let me see if I can find him. Nuzleaf has this freaking epic attack. Here he is. Turn the light on. He has this epic attack. No, real light. There we go. Epic attack where he moves an energy on the... Is this macro? No. Moves an energy from their active guy to one of their bench guys. So I kept doing that. She ended up with the Reckless Charge, I think it was, Lapras. It wound up with because she kept attaching energy to Thundershock with Pikachu, and her Lapras wound up with 4 or 5 lightning energy. It was ridiculous. I kept screwing around with her energies, and until I could get stuff set up. Because at first I only had a lone Nuzleaf, and I was like, crap. So I pretty much just stalled for time with Nuzleaf and doing all that. And she put out a Pokemon Center, so it made it last even longer because we were healing stuff. We were treating it and healing it. And we weren't dealing much more than 20 a turn anyway. But eventually I did get out Shiftry, and I did get out Gardevoir, and I wanted so bad to get out Cardi large size, but I couldn't. But I did let Cardi medium size get the last kill. So because of that, I was able to pick up 2 extra packs. I think everyone who went 2-1 got 2 packs, and whoever went 3-0 got 4 or 5, I don't know. But again, no EXs from those pulls, just DCE and Silent and something decent. I think I got a reverse foil Curlia, so that was pretty cool. But that was it for draft, and that was it for states. So I had a great time. I don't know when regionals is. And also at lunch, Kooper went to Xerxes' favorite store over here, and they have a Pizza Hut Express type thing in that particular Target, so that's what we got. So pizza has been consumed today, so that means it's a good day, kind of automatically. There's also a Chuck E. Cheese over there that we could have gotten pizza from, but we chose not to. There's also a Lame Stop right next. This is like an awesome little shopping center. It's got Lame Stop to the extent that Lame Stop can be considered good. Chuck E. Cheese, but not a grown feller's Chuck E. Cheese. No Victoria's Secret here. The Game Shop, that's the whatever, and the Target in case you need random items, and whatever this Essex bargain hunt, I don't know what that is. It's bargain hunts, so it must be kind of cool. So anyway, that'll do it. Again, as I kind of expected, none of these games recorded, but hopefully my recaps throughout the day have been somewhat enthralling. And like I said, best game of the day by far. Oh, and also some other stats. Best game of the far was best game was the Durant game. I already said that. The guy I played in round 6, Brit, and the guy who had the Landorus deck. I wonder why. That was totally counter teaming everything. And Drew from round 5 with the Reshiphlosion. They both made top cut. I think probably the finals are actually going on right now. Don't know who won, but I think you get a trophy or a little like plaque or something anyway. And I think I mentioned before, Masters Division had like 104 people, and Juniors has like, I think it was Juniors, yeah, 10 and under had, I forget the exact number. It was roughly 10, maybe a little less. They cut to a top 2. So, and then the middle one, 11 to 14 seniors, I think that was 20-ish maybe, I don't know. So yeah, you can clearly see where the bulk of the players are from. It is not a little kids game, too much. So yeah, should be about it. Other stories and stats before we leave. So when I was getting my deck checked, I did actually have to buy like one of my sleeves. I think I already mentioned the sleeves I did bring. I only brought 59 of them, so it's like thanks. So I sleeved it with my Crobat deck, sold sleeves rather. One of those sleeves was like starting to tear, so I kind of already wanted to get some more sleeves anyway, so I just went ahead and bought some new ones. And for every $5 you spent, you got another raffle ticket to win bonus goodies. The one I got from spending an extra $5 and showing receipt was a WinRAR, and what I won was a hat. Zoom out. There we go. We got hat. Isn't that cool? It says play Pokemon. That's nice. Although I don't really wear hats, so. And I actually left it under my chair after the round I won. But someone was nice enough to actually turn it in instead of take it from themselves. So that was really cool. Thanks to whoever did that. On the off chance you're watching, mine was the one that had the tickets on it. Although evidently it happened to someone else too, because I got the one that didn't have the tickets on it. They were taped or something, so I just slid mine under the tape as well. But anyways, so that was cool. Won a hat, and there are also like mats and sleeves and stuff. And also a lot of people were giving some thumbs up, positiveness to the old school mat that you guys have seen a couple of times in some testing videos and stuff. We love that mat. I would like to get like a I don't know whatever kind of mats that like people use for like pro style mats. But if I can't have like a really like nice professional-ish one, I'd rather have an old school one. So you can't argue with that one. Let's see, where's these stats? Statistics. Everyone loves statistics. By the way, why can't people pronounce statistics? Like, people always go like, no, they can't pronounce the word statistics. I don't understand why. My opponent win percentage was 60.7, and my opponent's opponent win percentage was 51.5, so there's some useless stats for you all. So I guess that means that the people I played did fairly well. So I guess that's going to happen when you keep toward the top. So yeah, so I went on a four game winning streak, and then it was like, okay, if I win one of my last three, I can maybe make it, but I lost all three of them. So oh well, I guess that's what happens when you get up a little bit too high. But considering that I didn't really spend much, if at all, on this deck, I'm trying to think if I actually like specially order anything that was too expensive for. I don't think I did. It was pretty much just stuff that I already had. From just two pre-releases and random ish packs that I've accrued. So it was pretty nice to just be able to just cobble something sort of together out of cards I already had, and not have to like, oh, here's a deck list, I want to run this, send in the order to wherever sites for ordering stuff. So it was nice to be able to just get that and have most of the attackers or most of the key parts be from theme decks, really. I would probably like to add another Zekrom EX. I'm still thinking on making a Reshiphlosion EX. I definitely consider Typhlosion to be way better with Reshiram. Although, the one good thing about Reshiphlosion non-EX is that in the game I had with it, because of his afterburners, I was able to kill him off with Bolt Strike, while ordinarily I wouldn't be able to if he was just doing it with Fandango. But, whatever. I'm pretty sure Typhlosion's still better, because that also powers up Outrage. Although Typhlosion's also going to be gone soon, so yeah. Still considering making that one, especially considering how few Mewtwo's I saw. I was honestly shocked. I was expecting to see like almost every game of Mewtwo, but I saw more Durants than Mewtwo's, so that was actually pretty cool. I guess people are playing Durant because this is kind of gonna be Durant's last hurrah before Heatmore, the troll Heatmore, comes out and says, "Lol, I troll you, Durant." Which, I mean, that's probably not gonna be. It's not gonna be like an Archetype or anything. It's just gonna be like oh, I throw a Heatmore in this deck, and I'm already running Prism, so therefore Durant can just die. Although, honestly, I'd probably rather run a basic Fire, so you could search that out easier. But anyway. So, yeah, Dark Explorers is coming out May? April? It's either late April or early May. So, probably be coming to that, and some good cards to be had in that, including Empoleon. And I think the Zoroark's going to be in theme decks, so I'm not going to be too concerned about getting those. Darkrai EX as well, and Raikou EX. So yeah, I'm thinking. This deck that I have right now, as new cards come out, it's just going to be made better and better. So I'm thinking on keeping it and just like gradually evolving this deck as the sets go by. And trying to keep it primarily black-white on, although I certainly had junk arms and stuff. But if it's in the format, I guess I may as well use it, right? So that's probably gonna be my plan. Yeah, my initial plan was to buy 4 Reshiram EX10s, but I don't really like Next D enough, I think, to get all those. So I'll probably just get like a Zekrom EX10 or 2. Probably a QRM EX10 too, just so I can have a QRM EX. But those are coming out, I think, next weekend or something like that. So, and I guess also I got 5 code cards for a draft, so that was cool too. That's a perfect transition. Although actually we're not gonna do it. You know what? We will. We'll do it in the middle of the video. How about that? Not the middle. This is toward the end. The answer for this video is Durant. And your hint for the desired question is, I've already mention the fact in this video pertaining to Durant. So, hopefully you remember that, and remember, first person to get that will get the 3 points. Another thing in regards to that, there's only probably about 5 or 6 of you who are still really in contention for it at this point. Most of the people who aren't like kind of in it right now have kind of dropped out, which I understand. Since I think it's actually, isn't it like top 8? I don't know. I forget how the scoring goes. But probably we're gonna have at some point after spring break, or at some point after this point, because this vid's not gonna go up till after spring break ends. There's probably gonna be a mega bonus video where you can earn up to like somewhere between 5 and 10 points, and it'll be like actual trivia. Like, I'll give you questions and you'll PM me the answers, and you'll get, like, for every 2 you get right, you'll get a point. So it'll be some sort of little bonus round that'll go midway through this contest, and yeah, so that's for that. And I think that pretty much covers it. I won't waste any more of your guys' time. I've already been talking for 21 minutes, and I need to get on the road. And on the way back to Abilama. So 4-3. Pretty satisfied with that. Pretty satisfied. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna keep playing this deck and kind of keep improving it. A couple of whatever cards come out in the set, I'll just get some of those and add them in and just evolve this deck over time. Nice. Evolve this deck over time. Nope. Which is funny because by evolve this deck over time, I mean add more basics. So not evolve this deck over time, really. But yeah, so had a great time. If you get a chance to go to any of these in live things, especially a pre-release for those of you who don't actually already have a pre-made deck. Although there were a couple of people. The guy I played first round, for example, who it looked like he just kind of threw something together and said, "Hey, I'm going to go to States and play. It's free, whatever." We'll get to meet people and talk about Pokémons, which is always nice. He had bloody emerging power Zoroark. Like, he was just there to have fun. So that is the way to be. So says the guy who brought one of the hoariest deck archetypes out there right now. Albeit without collector. So which is going to be gone. Like I said, I don't know when regionals are or where they are. Depending on where they are, I may or may not go. Last time regionals was in like Memphis, and when I say last time, I mean in 2005. So who knows where they're actually going to be this year. But more information on that as the time comes. And if nothing else, Dark Explorers will probably do another one of these since people seem to enjoy them. So thank you for watching, and I'm not going to say later days yet. Darn it, I just did. Because we're probably going to check in again as I'm driving, because we like doing dangerous things at night. So, yeah. Alright, we're back in Abilama now, and we're going over 70 miles per hour on the interstate, because, that's a great thing to be doing while we're, driving a car and holding a camcorder making your YouTube videos. But anyway, so I guess just a couple of closing remarks here to end the video. Somebody mentioned at some point an idea for a deck with the new Empoleon, which I've been thinking about Empoleon and Terrakion, Noble Victories, since that Empoleon is weak to lightning. It'd be nice to have some Terrakion, and Terrakion's, he kind of takes a lot of energy, but the nice thing about that is that Empoleon doesn't take a lot of energy, just the one. So there was one other guy I thought about maybe adding in that too, maybe to cover Terrakion, but I don't know. Anyway, but this guy was proposing Darkrai EX and Kyurem EX and Empoleon, there we go, with prisms and rainbows, so that you can retreat for free, and just retreat around and use use Kyurem EX. I'm not sure how you would get that energy accelerated, but I thought that was a pretty novel idea. Yeah, looking forward to some of the stuff we're going to see out of Dark Explorers, which is the next thing. It would appear
that we are going to see that stuff get played at Worlds, because Collector will be legal with it, but it'll probably just be a one and done as far as that goes with the Zoroark Beats deck, which I've been playtesting a while, and it's pretty beast, but it does heavily need some collector in it, or else it's doesn't quite work out as well as what.
Then one day, the tiger escaped from its cage.
Ten little penguins sitting in a row. Eeny, meeny, miny, and mo.
What?
With their big hats on. Patrick, Roger, Vivian.
Do you guys hear that voice? Was that from hell?
Then a tiger came along.
The tiger. What? The. Oh my. No. This is like the last time, isn't it? Isn't it? With the penguins. Yeah. Oh, okay, we get it with the brave little Tom. And we get it with the tiger. Be quiet. Penguins! Penguins! Oh, ram it. Alright, well, I'm going to cut the video here and shut the penguins up. Thank you guys for watching Kooper attends Tennessee State 2012. I will see you guys for more TCG action at a later date. The penguins need to shut the love up, and later days.